Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Today, we're going to be breaking down the slate, the early slate for the DraftKings MLB. That's going to be like serving as the main slate. We're going to have more games on the early at 1 o'clock than we have in the late, or in the 7 o'clock. So we're going to be going over those pitching prospects for the late, for the early. And what I'm going to do is tomorrow, right before lineups lock, probably about 12. Once we get the finalized lineups, I'm going to come out and I'm going to do a live stream with just the fam in the VIP, in the Facebook VIP, and we're going to go and rock out our roster builds like we always do. Something similar to our line drive at 5, but just going to be in the early state. Then I'm going to come back at 5 and do the actual line drive at 5 for everybody in the VIP. So if you are not a member of the DFS Sweatshop, if you're not a part of the Facebook VIP, you might want to get involved there, man. There's a lot going on here. Now, we talked about this earlier. I like to send out a tweet every day where I ask, who's going to be the stack of the slate? Like, who you going to be resting on? Who you going to be relying on? And today, the overwhelming majority of people that did vote and did take part in the poll, they went with the New York Mets. And we saw that in a lot of our tournaments, man, where we saw we were going to be flanked everywhere with a lot of the New York Mets bats, and it just was not a great night for them. Something that I kind of looked at, which is why I didn't name the Mets in my favorite stacks of the day. As a matter of fact, I had Milwaukee, I had the Boston Red Sox, who I really liked, as well as the Atlanta Braves, and only one of those really were good. That stack hit. And I talked about, a game stack with the Arizona Diamondbacks as well as the the Milwaukee Brewers. So that was my favorite game to stack. I did like a lot of the Atlanta and the Mets games, but I had a lot more of Atlanta than I had Mets. So it didn't come back to really hurt me too much. As a matter of fact, it was not a profitable night on DraftKings. I'm currently winning 36 bucks. I had like $50 invested in this. But actually on FanDuel, I doubled up my buy-in, so I did make a little something on the night. It just stretched across 2 sites. My best lineup was this one with Cobb, Waka, Hedges, Goldsmith, Cano, Lamb, Owens, Conforto, Peralta, and Smith. This is a dude that we covered Smith, okay, from Tampa. If you had a Tampa stack, thank you. You had the money. If you had a Tampa stack, you got it in with a Tampa stack. But this is the guy, the Smith kid. We covered him inside of the line drive at 5, where I said, the dude is an auto play. Like, you got to play him. 2K, leading off, you had to play him. Now, did I think he was going to go out, snag 3 bags, and hit a jack? No, of course I didn't think that. Of course not. Who saw that coming? But we learned this lesson last week or early in the week with Scooter Gannett when he was minimum priced on FanDuel, batting in the 5-hole. And see, this is why batting order matters. Don't let anybody tell you that batting order doesn't. If somebody tells you that batting order doesn't matter, well, you have them make a lineup the night before, and you make a lineup right before once the batting orders come out, and then y'all play a head-to-head, and you tell me who's going to be winning. Batting order does matter. You've got to find out who's the batting order. And that's why in the first class, our focus is the pitching, because we know that the pitching is the part that's going to stay the same. For the most part, whatever pitchers DraftKings or FanDuel tells us they're going to be playing right now, the day before, those are the pitchers we're going to see tomorrow. We don't know what the batting order is going to be. And it's tough. You can't even build lineups until you know for a fact what the actual batting order is going to be. Not just who's playing, but the actual batting order. Who's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You need to know that. Okay? So, like I said, it was not a profitable night on DraftKings, but it very well could have been, man. Pitching is what got me. I had a lot of, let's check this out. I had a lot of bum pitchers, bro. Chastain Kluber was good. This was okay. Look at this one. Peacock Waka. Vance Worley. I had him in the lineup. Chasen Montgomery, this is one of my better ones, but this was a Met stack that I had, and that just did not, that was not good. That was not good. That was not good. Peacock Waka. I had way too much Peacock, bro. Way too much. Way too much. The better lineups that I did have tonight did have Cobb Waka, Chasen Rourke. Rourke was not good at all. It's a night where I just didn't put it all together. I just didn't put it all together. And you're going to have those nights. But luckily, I was able to recoup a lot of my buy-in back. I think I had like maybe 50 bucks involved tonight. But over on FanDuel, let me see if my fan, because I did double up over on FanDuel. Didn't play near as much volume as I did on DraftKings, but I mean, nonetheless, it turned out to be somewhat of a profitable night. So I'm all good with that. I am all good with that. Let's go ahead and log in here. I'm gonna show you. Oh, let's not read it. How'd you guys do tonight though? You ended up on FanDuel. Uh, had some pretty decent lineups. Cashed 2 out of 3. I had like $8 invested on FanDuel, so I kind of got back my buying in a couple of dollars. That wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. I mean, I'll take it. A night where I played as much volume as I did, and I came out without losing my entire buy-in. I'll take it. And these were lineups that were actually created in the group, in the group. Kluber, Leon, Goldschmidt, Kipnis, Forsyth, Xander, Malix, Andrew Benintendi, Mookie Betts. These were lineups that were created actually in the group. So, if you got a chance to use them, man, great, awesome. If you had a chance to use them. So that was pretty dope. That I was able to not just share a lineup, but just let you know exactly where I was and who I was playing. So really working, of course, from RotoQL. And I've got to tell you, man, the 3 stacks that I liked the most. We talked about them just a second ago. I liked Milwaukee, Atlanta, and I was on Boston. The Milwaukee stack came a lot. A lot of where Milwaukee came from was some of the research that I had been doing with Rudy in regards to his attack on the Vegas lines, man. So very helpful stuff there, man. If you are a part of the sweatshop and you want to get involved with that, man, there's a discount for whatever Rudy is offering, is charging for that. It's very well worth it. You could make it back in one night, and it's an ongoing process that you can use every day, all day. Really good stuff. If you're not a part of the DFS sweatshop, you will have to pay full price for it, but it's definitely worth it. As a matter of fact, no, you don't. You have to pay. You don't have to pay full price for it. Tell them I sent you. Tell them I sent you. Tell them the DFS Jerusalem sent you and said to cut you a deal on it. If you're not a part of the sweatshop, that's the least I can do. Okay. So and it's funny because people were like, yo, why didn't you just buy the strategy from Rudy? Number one, I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford it. And number two, I consider that cat a friend, man, and he's found some shit that he can really, really use, man, and we all can really, really use. And I did like everybody else did. I paid for my spot, and I'm enjoying using it. It's really good. It goes hand in hand with a lot of what we teach in the shop. If you're a guy that wants to move into playing those higher dollar tournaments, if you want to move into taking down, lots of money at one time in higher dollar tournaments, because the one thing that it focuses on is if you play in the higher dollar single entries, the $12 and above, the lineups that are going to be in there are going to be so safe. And people do not want to take chances there. But that's how we play in the sweatshop, bro. We are a tournament group for the most part. Like, most of us don't play cash games. A lot of us are strictly tournament players, whether it be single entry, 20 entry max, 3 entry max, or all out 150 max entry, do whatever you want to do. So very good stuff in there, man. Very good strategy. The group is small. It is growing. I think there's a cutoff point because he told me there's only a certain amount of people that he wanted to share that strategy with, and that's on him. But very good stuff, man. So let's go ahead and jump into the 8-game early slate. The first game that we do have, and I got to lay out a disclaimer. What I'm using here is going to be, this is RotoQL. Now, this is a paid service, okay? I can't give you their true projections, but what I can do is just show you the template that they use in respect to the games. I'm not giving you anything that they require you to pay for. That's just a little disclaimer I like to throw out. I'm just using it because I like the way the game sets up. It gives us a few pieces of information, public information, that we can use when we talk about the pitching that's going to be involved for tomorrow's slate. So, right here we've got the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. This game is again at SunTrust Field. 5 mile per hour wind going out toward left field. 48% humidity here, a 0% chance of rain. 83 degrees, so it's going to be pretty hot in Atlanta. First pitch goes out at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. You got Robert Gesselman and Sean Newcomb. Let's go ahead and check DraftKings just to be sure that these are the exact pitching prospects that we're going to find on the slate. The way we do that is we go ahead, open that up, and we're going to go at 8 game early. Bam. First game. Yep, we got Sean Newcomb and Robert Gesselman. Those are going to be the two guys on the slate. Let's take a look at Newcomb. If we have, there's no information on him. Let's do that. Let's scramble around. Let's scramble around and find some information on Newcomb, because as you can see, man, the Atlanta Braves are heavily favored in the spot. I would say heavily with a pitcher like this. Minus 123 money line here, 112 on the New York Mets side. Robert Gesselman at 6.9K, a guy that I was a champion for earlier throughout the season, man. I really liked him. Jeremy Ladd says he's the first round pick in 2014, highly touted. Okay, so that's something that we can take a look at. We can grab that and take a look at him later on when we jump into the slate, when the lineups come out. His last game against Milwaukee was a good one, 24.15, 18.6 against Pittsburgh. But you know how I go. I do not like to play pitchers against Atlanta at home. I think I will be taking part in some of those Atlanta bats. So these are not any pitching prospects that I think I'm gonna want to go to in this spot. The one thing I do like is we know the Mets do struggle against left-handed pitching, so that may be something that we can take a look at. Look at his baseball reference page. Okay, got it. Next game we got is the Oakland Athletics and the Tampa Bay Rays. Yo, the Rays went ham tonight, all over the place, man. That was the stack to have tonight. I believe we got Sean Manaea and Matt Andriese here. Now, taking a look on DraftKings, just making sure these are the guys we got. See, we got Sonny Gray and Erasmo Ramirez. RotoQL, step your game up. Your shit is wrong. Sonny Gray and Erasmo Ramirez are who we're going to be seeing now. Sonny Gray had a couple of decent starts last time. I believe, well, 17.6 in that one start against Washington. Then he had 37 against Miami. Got kind of shelled against Cleveland, negative 4.1, and then 23 against Boston. So this is not a bad choice, dude. This is not a bad choice. A guy I think I may be able to get behind. Manaea on the bump. Well, DraftKings has Sonny Gray. Then we've got Erasmo Ramirez in his last start. 7, -5, 6.3, 14. This is a guy we definitely can attack in this spot. Taking a look here on RotoQL. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely, yeah. Both pitchers in this game are going to be greatly attackable. I've got no issue there. Don't want to play either of those guys. Next, we got the Philadelphia Phillies and the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's take a look here. Make sure these are the correct guys that we have. Carlos Martinez, Nick Pivetta. Yes, Martinez is most certainly in play. 12.3K is a tough price. To get up to him. 18.6, 33, 23, 28, 21. Very consistent over the last over the entire season, as a matter of fact. Hasn't had one negative game. His worst game was against Cincinnati at 1.85. I want to see what he's done when he was priced up above 10K. Okay, here 10.2, 21, 11, 28, 10.9, 33, 12.5. So yeah, I can play. He's a guy I can play. I kind of like Carlos Martinez right off the bat. We can play him against the Philadelphia Phillies. Taking a look at the Phillies and what they've been doing so far, they have been pretty disciplined at the plate in regards to K rates. I believe they're either 27th in the league, 21. Excuse me. Go ahead and make that K rate right. Okay. There we go. 18th in the league, 21.6% K rate, 158 ISO, 290 WOBA. Definitely an attackable squad tomorrow. We can definitely look to playing Carlos Martinez here. You've got Nick Pivetta against the St. Louis Cardinals, 11, 14, 7.1, 9.2, 11.25. Not great for him. I think it would be in our best interest to play some St. Louis bats against Philadelphia in a spot against Nick Pivetta. Carlos Martinez will be the only pitching prospect I see so far. Next, we've got Jeff Hoffman and Eddie Butler. Butler, in his last start, 10.45, negative, excuse me, 20.35 against Miami, 1.75. The first start, 24.5 against St. Louis. So this is a guy that does have decent upside. It's priced down to 5.6. The Rockies do struggle away from home. He could be a prospect you could look at. With a righty-heavy lineup, you might say, okay, that could be a way I go. I think I could get behind Eddie Butler here. I really could. Let's take a look at the Rockies and what they do as far as K rates. They're very disciplined at the plate. 21.6% K rate here. 159 ISO, 330 WOBA over the last 14 days. So this is definitely you can play a pitcher against the Rockies, bro, especially away from Coarse Field. You most certainly can. You got Jeff Hoffman at 6.7. I have zero interest in playing him. Last two starts were really good. 33 against San Diego, 29.95 against Philadelphia, 21.2 against the Dodgers. It just, to me, I think it could be a Cubs day. It could be a Cubs day. You got 16-mile-per-hour wind going out toward left center field and Wrigley. The wind could be an issue, helping balls get up out of there. I don't want to be on the wrong side of that. I think we can definitely get to some of those Chicago bats in the spot too. So Butler is going to be a guy that I might take a look at playing, but not Hoffman. Next, we've got the Miami Marlins and the Pittsburgh Pirates. 10-mile-per-hour wind, a 6% chance of very light rain. You got 44% humidity with 85 degrees here. Dan Straley and Trevor Williams, man. Straley has had some really solid starts this year, man. Looking over the last 5 games, 16, 31, 17, 22, 15. Not bad at all. And against the Pittsburgh Pirates, who we're going to open up right now and take a look at them as far as their plate discipline and what they've done. 12th in the league in K rate, 22.3% over the last 14 games. 147 WOBA, ISO, 316 WOBA. Nothing to really be afraid of. I think Straley is firmly in play for the slate. I kind of like him. Give me some Dan Straley. Now you got Trevor Williams at 5.9. He's the guy that did have a couple of decent starts in a row. 18.3 against the Mets, 13 against Arizona, 13 against Atlanta. If you're of the mindset that the Miami hot hitting streak ends when they leave and go on the road and play, then well, they just were in Pittsburgh, man, and they lit them up. So I'm not going to play Trevor Williams. I do like Dan Straley in the spot, though. I can definitely get there. That's a guy that I like. Next game we got is the Minnesota Twins and the San Francisco Giants. Yo, Berrios was a thing earlier in the season. And look at 16, 7, and then last time he played Houston, 22 against Baltimore, 40 against Colorado, 24 against Cleveland. I like Berrios. I can play Berrios in this big, huge hitter's park. We take a look at what the Giants have been doing lately. Not a team that strikes out a ton. They're toward the bottom of the league, which really is the top. 18% K rate, but a 107 ISO with a 307 WOBA over the last 14 games really tells me that I can play Berrios in this spot most assuredly. Jeff Samardzija at 10.9, another guy that we can look to. He's been quite masterful in his last couple performances. 35.65 against Milwaukee. 7 against Washington wasn't very good. 21, 30, 23. So this is a dude that's, this dude can play, And Samardzija can pitch very deep in the games if you need him to. 13-mile-per-hour wind going out toward center field in AT&T Park. But I do think that both of these pitchers are going to be in play. Where I don't have one, I probably will have the other. I don't see any of the bats just completely going off in this spot. Not a problem. And if I did want to play bats, I wouldn't play San Fran bats. I would be more likely to play some of those Minnesota Twins bats in the spot. Next game we got is the Los Angeles Angels and the Houston Astros. Angels went off today, man. We're at very low on stack. A lot of guys could have been on them. Ricky Nolasco, I think, has a league leading as far as giving up home runs. So I most assuredly would not be playing Ricky Nolasco. Mike Fiers at 7.2, not a guy that I'm particularly interested in. I'm just going to take some of the bats in the spot and keep it moving. Okay, C-Mart Barrios is the way you lean at this point in the early. Christopher Marie, I can definitely dig you saying that. Definitely. That makes complete sense. You can't play 9.2 for Barrios. Barrios, he's not that expensive. 7.9. Well, he might be 9.2 on FanDuel, but he's 7.9 on DraftKings. That's doable. Let's look on FanDuel. Let's price on FanDuel. Yeah, 9.2 on FanDuel. That's too much. Yo, he's the same price as Samardzija on FanDuel. That's a lot. That's a lot on FanDuel for Barrios. But the discount you get on DraftKings just says that you can play him on DraftKings. It just says you can definitely play him on DK. So I'm all about that on DK Barrios. You can give me some of that. You can give me, most assuredly, you can give me some of that. Okay. Now we've got. Let's go back to the. Last game on the early slate is going to be the Kansas City Royals and the San Diego Padres. Miguel Diaz at 4.5. You know I always love to attack the Royals. I'm gonna have to do some scouting of Miguel Diaz, man. Very young prospect, 23 years old, man. Need to find out exactly what he's about. You got Ian Kennedy here at 7.5. His last 4 starts have been horrible. And I think, that is a cause for concern and a definite reasoning for us to play a couple of those San Diego bats. It's Ian Kennedy Day against San Diego. San Diego's one of the worst teams in the league batting, bro. So there's definitely credence to playing. I mean, looking at them, they're 32.5% K rate, 149 ISO, 274 WOBA, one of the worst teams in the league batting. So if you wanted to play Ian Kennedy, I don't have any problem with that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and highlight that cat. I'm gonna highlight that. Put Diaz aside. I'm kind of interested in Kennedy, but he has a glass arm. Yes, yeah. I think Kennedy is gonna be like the pivot pitcher for tomorrow. I think either you're gonna be playing Kennedy or you're gonna be playing bats from San Diego because the San Diego bats are so cheap that if you make a stand, if you're not playing Kennedy, you're making a stand saying that you're gonna see some scoring from the San Diego Padres. So why not just play some of the bats? You know what I mean? Yeah, Will Myers is cheap as Will Myers, Schimpf, Spangenberg, who I think went like 3 for 4 tonight. You got Hedges, 3.3, very cheap, very cheap. So if you don't like Kennedy, I think you should be playing some San Diego bats and vice versa, especially with that 11-mile-per-hour wind in Petco Park going out toward right field. So that's a brief pitching breakdown that we have. I'm gonna go ahead and just show you exactly the pitchers that I like and where I'm going to be going with them. We've got Martinez, Samardzija, Straley, Barrios, and Ian Kennedy are going to be the pitchers that I like, as well as Eddie Butler here is the cheapest. I'm going to go at 5.6. So, like I said, meet me here tomorrow or 12 o'clock p.m. Right when lineups lock. We're going to have about an hour before lineups lock. And then we can, jump into it. We're going to be breaking it down, going through. Once we get the finalized lineups, we know what the batting order is going to be. We can go through those with a fine-tooth comb and build some lineups. Hope you all had a good night tonight. Like I said, I was able to double my buy-in on FanDuel, a little bit more to double my buy-in, and get most of my buy-in back on DraftKings. So it was a minimally profitable night for me. It's all good. It's all good. Well, the main slate, we're going to do the main slate later on today. Later on today, we're going to break down the main slate. I want to have a slate-by-slate focus, man. I don't want to get, so brushed and bogged down and everything. I mean, if you're going to be playing all day, that's cool. But, I mean, you'll still be able to adjust your lineups because I'm going to jump into that tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Meet me here. I'm going to leave the barbershop. I got some early appointments at 7 a.m. I'm going to leave the barbershop, get here at 12 at home. We can break down the slate. chop up, build some lineups for the 1 o'clock first pitch. And inside of that, we're also going to be taking a quick look at the main slate, and then at 5. At 5, we're going to do the line drive at 5 and go ahead and get all the way into it. So this, of course, has been your DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem, saying a couple things I want you to do, man. Make you some lineups in the turbos, throw them bits in the main. If you're on FanDuel, keep it 250. If you are on DraftKings, keep it 300. All right, let's get it. Let's get to it tomorrow, man. Peace.